Hello, I'm Georgia,
And I'm Ellen.
and we are the ones that roll.
Welcome to our podcast where we discuss disability and more.
When we're not eating popcorn and watching High School Musical, because we don't do that
Much.
So today we're going to answer one of the most common questions: what is wrong with us?
The truth is there is no answer to that question.
There is not, because there is nothing wrong with us, we're just slightly different.
So we've both had the experience where we'll just be minding our business and a total stranger will come up and ask us why we need a wheelchair.
Or indeed, just simply what is wrong with you.
Yeah, I've had that as
Which
well.
I'd rather, so how come you're in a wheelchair then? I would happily answer that question
At least
to people.
trying to be polite.
Yeah. One time I had someone come up to me and say, oh, what you done then? I think they assumed that I'd just broken my leg or something. And I was like, I was born with spina bifida. And they were like, oh.
Oh, what's that?
Yeah. And then I had to go into a whole description. But it's just things like that people don't really think about when they ask the question.
Yeah. See, I'll get the question, then I'll be like, oh, well, when I was 18 months old, I dislocated my neck. And then they'll be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, oh, I don't want you to feel sorry for me.
That's the worst, is when they ask the question.
It's really uncomfortable.
It's when they ask the question and then they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. If you were sorry and you were like, you thought you would get a tragic answer, don't ask the question in the first place.
Yeah, if you can't deal with the answer.
Yeah, because, it's not going to be like, you say, oh, how come you're in a wheelchair? Oh, yeah, just because I decided I wanted to be and it was really fun.
Yeah,
that's
really
great
lazy.
news. I'm so glad I asked. Yeah, you're never going to get a positive answer with that, really, are you? Whether it's accepted by the person or not, that they have a disability.
Yeah.
You're never going to get a positive answer. It's going to be a classic, oh, I've got this condition, or I've been in this accident.
And also, it's none of their business.
I
don't understand why, okay, so I'm kind of in two minds. Because on the one hand, I would prefer people ask than, just stare at me.
Yes.
But also, why is it so important that you know? You wouldn't go up to somebody and be like, what's the worst thing that's ever happened to you?
Yeah.
Or, what's, the most difficult thing that's happening in your life right now? You wouldn't go up and ask really personal questions, so I don't see why it's alright.
In my perspective, I don't care when people ask. The only thing that bothers me is the way that people ask. I will happily tell, I guess, because obviously mine's not a happy story, but it's not the most tragic of stories. I was born with spina bifida. That's that. I actually have come out with a better outcome than they predicted. They weren't sure what I would be able to achieve. So I've done better for myself than what was to be expected. So really that's a positive thing. So I don't really mind people asking, but it's just people like, oh, what's wrong with you?
I get a lot of kids come up to me and ask me questions because the alternative is that they ask their mum or dad in a really non-discreet way.
Yeah.
It's like, Mummy, what's wrong with that girl? And I'm like,
Yeah. Children don't bother me half as much as adults do.
And because they don't care about the real reason, they just want, I just say, just because cool. I can't walk properly. And then they're fine, and then they ask me what that button does on my chair. Whereas adults want your whole life story. I had a guy try to ask me about my disability a few weeks ago, and he was being relatively polite, and he was saying just out of curiosity, but he kept asking all these questions. So he asked me why I needed a wheelchair, and then I kind of gave the really brief explanation. I had my neck when I was younger, and then he kept asking me oh, so how did you do that? What were you in hospital? How long were you in hospital for? And I was like, I was 18 months old, I don't remember. I
don't mind when someone, wants the name of my condition or,
Yeah, that's fine.
How long I have been disabled. I'm not bothered by that. It's when they're so because of your condition then, can you not go to the toilet by yourself? That's not a normal question you would ask anyone. You wouldn't go up to someone who was, in quotation marks, normal and be like, so when did you come out of nappies then? You wouldn't ask that sort of question. And I feel like people just want to try and push the line of personal information.
And sometimes there are questions where people have good intentions, but maybe they word it wrong, or maybe they're not sure if it's okay to ask. Then there are questions like that when it's very clearly not alright. Yeah, I find it quite difficult to explain as well, because there are multiple things that contribute. Do you want the condition that no one can say, or do you want the tragic backstory?
I mean, I don't really have that issue. I was born with spina bifida and hydrocephalus.
When you tell people that, do most people know what spina bifida is, or do they ask?
When I say spina bifida, about 90% of people have heard of that term, but they don't necessarily understand. So sometimes I explain, but sometimes people just accept, it's a condition.
Yeah. When I say I have SEDC, everybody's like, what's that? I go, it's spondyloepiphyseal dysplasia congenital. They're like, what's that? And then I have to say, like, you know, Warwick Davis. They're like, yeah, that's what he's got. Like, oh, okay, cool. So you're like a dwarf then? Like, yeah.
People ask, you know, like, what's wrong with you for the things that they can visibly tell. They'll be like, oh, what's that? So you say, and then they go into it more and more, but they don't really.
Yeah.
It's the kind of what makes you look different as opposed to what's affecting your life. No, why do you look so weird?
I'm getting really fed up with the people who think they're really funny, like make jokes about it all the time. Like, I was out with my mum and I used the term walk, obviously I wasn't walking in my chair. We were out for a walk and I was in my chair and there was this kind of slower couple in front of us, and they moved out of the way because they heard us coming, and the man looked around and was like, oh, mind out you don't run me over with that thing. Like, have you got a driver's licence for that? And like, you were literally like the 5th person who's made that joke today. And then my mum was like, you should have just said, oh, well, if you keep talking.
When I did police cadets, and I used to do events like Airborne and Eastbourne and stuff like that, me and one of my friends, we would tally how many times old men would come up to me and be like, can I have a ride on that thing? So really, in conclusion, we're just two very average, normal... Okay, we're just two people.
Who need to sit down a lot.
Who like High School Musical.
Don't watch it that often.
Okay, Disney movies in general. Let's just sound more cool that way. But burn popcorn.
And we take a lot of Vader selfies.
We take a lot of selfies for people that also take the piss out of ourselves a lot.
And it's none of your business why we need our wheelchairs.
It's more of a case of, it's not your business, but if you want to make it your business, do it in the right way.
Be nice about it. Thank you for listening to this episode of our podcast.
Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you get notified every time we do an upload, as we have future podcasts lined up.
Be sure to follow us on Twitter @OnesThatRoll and tweet us any thoughts.
Also, you can leave a comment in the comment section down below, giving us any feedback or even any ideas of future things that you want us to discuss. See you next time.
Bye.